What's up, guys? It's December 19th, that's Monday, and this is Newswave. So the first bit of news I'm going to get into very briefly is the fake news that came out this past weekend. If you guys missed it or anything, a big article came out, not even an article, just a stunt by some person who wanted to have fun with the media, basically. Took journalism for a ride that month, or that weekend, and we basically were told that Breath of the Wild is canceled on the Wii U. Turned out not to be true. Everyone reported it anyway. Stop sending me messages. Breath of the Wild is not canceled for the Wii U. It was just a joke on someone's part, and for some reason the media picked it up. I want to start off today with some pretty interesting news, kind of fun. It's actually based around a Gameboy Color, actually, that has been designed and programmed to be able to play the original Wolfenstein. I'll show you guys a video here. It's really cool. This is actually done by programmer Anders Granlund over in Sweden. And it's just a little project they're working on, Wolfenstein 3D, to work on a Game Boy Color. Unfortunately, they said that there's no way to actually just port a file of the game over, so he had to build his own Game Boy cartridge from scratch, which is insane to think about. And it's so cool looking. I mean, it's Wolfenstein on the Game Boy. Who would have thought that you'd ever see that? I think that's just one of the neatest things I've seen in a long time. It looks like what he had to go through to do it looks pretty serious. Like I said, building a cartridge from scratch is extremely difficult. It's definitely not easy, but when he finished, he actually had the entire box art and everything made up. I'll show you a picture of that here too. And it's one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. I would love to try it out. I'm sure he's not selling it, and he probably doesn't want to have to make another one, but it's just really cool, and I would not mind seeing, at least, if he would be interested in making a couple. I wouldn't mind playing with one. Are you guys doing any Secret Santa stuff at work or in a group or anything? Because if you are, you probably will never ever get the best Secret Santa you can get, which in this case is Bill Gates. Now on Reddit, for forever now, they've always done Secret Santa, where you go on Reddit, there's a group you join, everyone gets a random name, they give you a list of things they like, things that they would like to have, obviously, and you go out, you buy them, you send it to them. And it's a really cool thing to do, because there are people who don't have a job you go to, maybe they telecommute, or they don't have a big group of people, and this really gives people the chance to kind of do the holiday spirit for a complete stranger, and in return the same thing happens to them. And it's a really neat idea on Reddit where people come together and do that. Well, someone by the name of Bill Gates, you guys may have heard of him, has been actually doing this for a while. I remember a couple that he did for the past couple years where the person would get so excited they would take pictures and basically put on the internet. Well, now we have someone who actually got him over the weekend, basically got Bill Gates as their Secret Santa on Reddit, and this is really cool. They took so many pictures. Check this stuff out. So of course Bill Gates, he sends an Xbox One. Why wouldn't he? Obviously, and it's the Minecraft bundle. But that's a big deal. And then what I think was one of the neatest things is Bill Gates buying people things from Nintendo, which is really funny to think about, but I'm sure the person on their list was like, I like Nintendo stuff, I like Zelda, and of course Bill, who was actually a really nice guy. I mean, all the stuff you see in the media and stuff, it really says, I've never met him obviously, but it says that he's actually a really cool guy. And he bought the person slippers and little gloves and everything for Zelda, an NES Classic Edition, which even though he has connections, I'm sure he still had to pay a pretty penny for that. And just all kinds of stuff. I mean, you see the pictures here. It's one of the coolest things. Multiple controllers for the Xbox One, a year of Xbox Live, which he bought in 4 3-month increments for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Maybe just in case she wanted to give some away. But it's really cool. There is a picture of him with it, just so it's legit. But I think based on all the stuff that showed up here, it's pretty obvious it's legit, because no random person is going to buy that much stuff for a stranger unless they are completely loaded like Bill Gates is. It's always cool to see somebody like this with just a ton of money and power, obviously, still just be a cool guy, just like a down-to-earth person. So good job, Bill Gates. I think that would just really cool you to do this. Although I think about it, his Secret Santa gift is going to completely suck compared to this one, obviously, but he has so much money and wealth and everything. Whatever you send him would have to be something homemade or something that would be impossible for him to go out and buy. So maybe that happened. Maybe he got something homemade, but honestly, at this point, he'll open it, probably read the card, get a good chuckle out of it, and then whatever they send him will probably not compare to whatever, he could just go buy it. So, guys, if you have not seen it already, Dragon Quest XI was shown this past weekend. So they had like a cinematic, big cinematic scene and everything to show, and they also had gameplay to show at the annual Jump Festa for Square Enix, and they showed it off. Of course, Dragon Quest X was a little odd because it was kind of like an MMO style game, from what I remember, and they wanted to show off what is a more traditional Dragon Quest compared to what they had before, and it's great because they showed PS4 gameplay. And keep in mind, guys, it's been a long time since Dragon Quest has been on the PlayStation system. That was back in the PS2 with Dragon Quest VIII. Since then, it's really been on Nintendo portable consoles. And what's great about this is they're bringing it to the PS4, and it looks good. It looks really good if you're a Dragon Quest fan. They're also bringing it to the 3DS, which kind of brings into question what the future is for Dragon Quest with the Switch maybe as well. Maybe they move that, or at least port it to the Switch as well. We're not sure yet, obviously. They have not made any big announcements. I'm sure they've probably been vague about it. Maybe people take it for confirmation, but until they show some kind of gameplay or like a big trailer or something, I won't consider it confirmed until then. But awesome to see this. It looks, like I said, it looks really good. I'll show you some stills here. If you want to check out the entire gameplay trailer, just go check out their channel, Square Enix's channel. They have it up and everything, and it really does look like an old school Japanese RPG, which is what I really like. I like those style games. Now, I'm talking more about the 3DS one. Of course, the PS4 version does look a little different, but I'm sure it'll be good because it does look like it still keeps the same art style. That, of course, is very similar to like a Dragon Ball Z art style, but looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll get more information as we go along. I don't know any release date currently, but maybe we'll get that in the next couple weeks. So just in case you forgot just how big the original Zelda map was back in the day on the NES, check this out. This is actually a fully 3D printed and realized Zelda map. It's somebody spent a crazy amount of time making this thing. What they did was they actually designed it in Minecraft and then took the file and basically converted it over to a 3D printer, had the 3D printer then print the thing, and then they spent forever painting it. They said it took forever to do this. Like, we're talking like most of a day, like an entire 24-hour cycle. And what's interesting about this is they actually sold it. Like, they sold it. And I don't know how much, they didn't say how much money it cost, but I have to imagine it was quite expensive. Okay, 24 hours of printing and then 6 hours of painting. So it was 30 hours total. And that's a long time. So what happened was Willard McFarlane, a gentleman named Willard McFarlane, bought this item. And it was at like a Facebook group kind of thing. They bought it off of there. I assume the person who made it really just did it just to make it probably and then sell it for whatever money they got for it. Again, no price here, but it just looks super detailed. Like, it's amazing. They have a lot of close-up stills that I'll show you here as well. You can actually go on Mike Matei's his page for it, and his Twitter page, and you'll actually see a bunch of stills that he took. I'll show you as many as I can here. But man, I mean, they have everything down to like the graveyard. It looks great. Even like the area with the water looks really neat, and it's so like perfect compared to what the actual map is. They just did a great job on it, and I just think it's neat. I mean, maybe they'll do something for like the Super Nintendo one. I really like to see that. And guys, we have another issue of censorship here in video games. It looks like on WWE 2K17, people have been making basically calls, which has created wrestlers. And what has happened is they've decided to make women with like scantily, clothed outfits and everything. So they're missing a lot of their clothes. And 2K decided that they were going to ban these people completely from online. So they can't share any more people. They can't wrestle online or anything anymore. And it brings up, like we've said before, the issue of censorship. And what's really weird about this, they're not using any outside assets. They're using the assets that are actually in the game right now. It's not like they're like taking drawings or stuff that shouldn't be in the game and then importing them in. They are using like the clothes, like the pants, the tops, everything that 2K has put into this game is what they're using. And it makes no sense for them to be banning people for using those things because they've basically approved it when they made the game. Now, some people may say they did not approve this outfit to go with this character, but it doesn't matter. Those should all be things that are ironed out well in advance before the game's brought out. Now, it appears that 2K has reached out and at least said, sorry, we'll get this figured out. You should not have been automatically banned for sharing content, essentially, that was already in the game. But it's bad on 2K's part for censoring people over something that is honestly dumb, because it's not like there's nudity or anything. It's just characters in like bikinis or something like that they shared, and it's the weirdest thing, because you can beat them to death with a chair, but if they have on a small tube top, there's a problem. And I think that's just the weirdest mentality we have in the world right now. At least here in the United States, it's like that. I can tell you that now. It's really bad when it comes to that. Watch Dogs 2 was really bad because there was nudity there, but you could also blow their head off, and that's fine. Grand Theft Auto has always been about that. It's never been about the violence in Grand Theft Auto. It's always been about the nudity and the sexual content. And it's odd because, like I said, when I worked at a video game store, a mom would bring their child up to the counter buying a game like Grand Theft Auto, buying a game like Call of Duty, and they were fine with the violence. They were always fine with it. They always said, they were always worried about cursing, and they were always worried about like sexual content. They were never worried about violence. Now, that to me means that they have no problem buying their kids something like Manhunt or the Saw game, but they have a problem buying them something like, I don't know, Rumble Roses or Grand Theft Auto even, only because of that sexual content or the language in it, which both of those things I would be more worried that my kid would emulate violence in a game rather than language or sexual content, to be honest, because if they are doing things like shooting people, obviously that's a problem. So I think we need to get our sensitivity in check here and really get to the things that matter rather than worry about just some of the most stupid, superficial things ever. So hopefully, as a community all around us, we actually start to figure out that there are things that actually matter and things that don't. So we'll see. I don't have any faith in that, though. If you want to get a chance to try the Nintendo Switch before it comes out, Nintendo is actually hitting the road and visiting a bunch of different cities, a bunch of different times and everything. It seems like they're just like a touring band, basically, with this system. And what's going to happen is they're going to have time set up for the public to see it, which means you're going to have to get there obscenely early if you want to try it. But I'll show you guys the times and everything here on the screen right now. We have New York, January 13th to the 15th, Toronto, January 27th to the 29th, Washington, D.C., February 10th to the 12th, Chicago, February 17th to the 19th, San Francisco, February 24th to 26th, Los Angeles, March 3rd to the 5th, which will then, of course, lead into their January 12th/13th, depending where you're on the world, presser. Now, there's one up in New York. It's going to be public and everything. I have no idea how I would be able to get in there, to be honest, because I don't have 3 days to spend lining up. And I can tell you now, people are going to line up on Friday in New York, a very popular area, in anticipation of the event on Sunday. So I really can't spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday standing in the line as much as I'd like to, as much as I'm sure you guys would like to see me there with a camera checking everything out. I don't think I have that kind of time to do that as much as I would like to. I wish I didn't have any other responsibilities or anything. I wish I could leave you guys in the channel for 4 days and go do that, but it probably is not doable, sadly. But hey, maybe one of you guys can. If you guys can get out there, any of these locations for the public one, go there, take pictures, check things out. I would love to hear your guys' reactions and response to what you get to try out there. It'd be really cool. One of the worst things ever with games, especially if you play online, are people who essentially quit or rage quit because they're losing or they just don't care. And it's never been as bad as in games like Street Fighter or other fighting games, because if they quit, the game's just over. Because it's one-on-one. If one person's gone, that's the end of it. And it gets real bad if they start quitting when they are down to like a quarter health in the second round and they're about to lose. And believe me, it happens a lot. It's been a problem for a long time, and it's frustrating to see people do that, whether they don't want a mark on their on their record, or they just want to annoy the crap out of the person who's about to win fair and square. But what's really cool here is, I guess Capcom has decided it'll be funny or at least it'll be like Just Desserts kind of for these people who are doing that. So what's happened is they put a branch of Street Fighter V out on the PC, which kind of went up on Steam, which is usually like an update or something that they're going to do. And I don't think they meant to do it because it got pulled back, but basically programmers, hackers, whoever you want to call them, that usually go into data mining and everything, found that in this update that is coming, apparently, you will have a way to basically show these people to the public that they are rage quitters. So what happens is if you quit too much, or I guess when you rage quit, you will be given a badge that says that. And I don't know if we don't know if they accumulate over time, or when you rage quit once you get a badge, but then you can get it removed by playing 3 games or something like that in a row without rage quitting. But it's pretty funny to have that. I do think that there will be ways for knockouts to happen where you won't be able to play for 24 hours. I've always been in favor of that. If you're willing to rage quit so many times in a row, you should be banned for so much time. Now, they have to be able to monitor when somebody drops connection and quits because of that, rather than hit start and then go to quit. But if they can come up with that and make a good way for these people to stop ruining experiences for other people just because they're not winning, which is a big sore loser thing, that would be great. I'd be really happy to see them come up with a way to do that and then start moving that to other games, even shooters where people quit out and leave a team, 2-on-4. That's really unfair, and it sucks for the people who do actually hang out and finish the game, to be fair. And guys, that's going to do it for Newswave today. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Check out some other videos if you enjoyed this one. There is a very funny video of me smashing a toaster with a hammer. Did I say toaster? I meant dev kit. Dev kit with a hammer. Now, also guys, I will put a link in the description below for you. You can also check out all of these Newswaves I'm going to start putting up there. Any of the other ones where I kind of just talk to the camera and you guys, I'm going to start putting them up on a podcast site. So if you don't want to chew up your data with video, you're more than welcome to go check that out as well. You of course help me more by watching me on YouTube, but I would like to build up an audio log of all of this stuff so you guys can check that out as well. Like I said, if you're in the car and you just want to listen to me just ramble on and talk to you guys about news and stuff, more than welcome to do that. Check the description below, and I will see you guys tomorrow.